Okay, I am picking up where I left off because of that darn background noise. Alright, so the last thing I actually did before I logged off was I made this little like doorway awning which I had to cut out because it was unusable, but we could just make that again real fast. I can select this face, Shift D, scale it down. I'm gonna actually make two. I'm gonna put one at the top, bring it in, extrude along normals to bring it out like that. And take the other one, Shift D. I'm gonna put it right at the bottom to make kind of a step. Like here is fine. I'm gonna squish this one down real small like that. Let's make a little, just a small lip. We can make this SY a bit wider, somewhat there. This one is kind of tall and close to the building, and then it comes out. So I'm going to make it like this. Select this top face, Alt E, extrude along normals, and I'm gonna, let's see. So it's actually supposed to go above this one. So do I have any room? Yes, I do. I'm gonna select this top face again, just drag it like this, so it's about here. Extrude along normals to bring it out like that. I'm gonna just grab this bottom edge here, give it a nice big bevel. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just give it a few curves like that. I am going to select these edges. Just give those a little bit of a bevel too. Oh no. What did I do here? So apparently I did not grab all this SX0 to straighten it back out. And actually, so this is a bit unusable because it got twisted. I'm gonna just take this one, just grab the bottom. I'm gonna just make sure all the edges are the way they're supposed to be. SY0, SY0, SX0, SX0. Cool. I'm just gonna grab this whole thing, Alt E, extrude along normals, bring it up like so. And select these edges, give it a bit of a bevel, give the top and the bottom a bit of a bevel. All right. Cool. Now that that is all done, we can get to the fun stuff. Also, seriously, damn these cars. This is getting ridiculous. All right, so we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. This part has kind of a two-parter where there's the door and there's also this like glass bit on top. So I'm gonna inset first of all. Oops, try it again. Inset, extrude it in along normals like that, and then this is where it's good to have your person kind of lined up where you'd want them to be, so you can see in real world, or quote unquote real world, how this is going to look. I am not going to do that. I'm just going to actually subdivide this. Take this GG to slide it up. Is it going to mess up our geometry? No, good. Bring it to like here or something so that the person can still fit in here. I'm going to take this I to inset. A little more than that. I to inset. Alt E, extrude along normals. Make the door just be real kind of far back in here. Maybe not that much. It's a bit extreme, but somewhere like there. And then you can just take one of these, Shift D it, bring it down in here. Scaled in, you can make yourself a little door handle. I'm gonna Alt E, extrude it out. I'm gonna Shift D this, scaled in, like this. Just add a loop cut here and bevel it out. And then I'm just gonna grab these and stretch them. Alt E, extrude along normals like that. It's a small detail, it doesn't have to be great. No one's really gonna be paying attention to the door handle anyways. Let's just take this, select this, I to inset, and then I inset again, and then just drag it back along the X like that. These, well, I'll show you what I have planned for the windows. So for now, let's just I to inset. I'm going to press GX, drag that in, Alt E to extrude in, I to inset again, Alt E extrude in, like that. I one more time, nice and big, Alt E, back. I'm just gonna do myself a favor now. I'm gonna make a new layer here, call this glass. I'm just gonna assign that. I'm gonna Shift D to duplicate this, bring it a little bit forward. I'm gonna make a new layer and call this window frame. Assign that. Also, when I was posting the video, the first part, I realized that this goes a little too high. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna select all of these pieces along here. I'm gonna SZ0 to scrunch it in a little bit, and then I'm just gonna bring it down on the Z axis like that, so that it matches a bit more. I'm gonna select it all, actually bring it down a little more so it's more here. Select these top bits, drag it down like maybe to that level, so it's a bit more compact and a bit more close together. I think that looks a bit better. I might actually go back, select yeah, I'm gonna select all these while I have them here, SY, drag them out a little bit so it's a bit more beefy. Make a new material, assign it, call this paint, sign, cool. Now I'm gonna re-drag these back down. Cool. That looks a lot better. All right. I'm gonna give these windows the same treatment I gave the other ones. So I'm gonna select all these. Let's do individual origins. I'm gonna press I. And then I'm just gonna GX, drag it in a little bit. Just subtly, Alt E extrude along normals. I again, Alt E extrude along normals to there. Just give all these our glass. Now you'll notice these are a bit too high, so I'm gonna just select all these little frames and just bring them down so they overlap. While we have these here, let's just grab all these bits that would be a different color material. And let's just make them a new material. So we'll just call this window decals. Cool. Now we're just gonna, let's see. I'm going to select all these top ones. I'm gonna hide them for now. And, well, I guess actually, since they're covering the top of the geometry, we don't really need to bevel these windows because they already have this arc cut into them. So yeah, something like that would be good. Let's see, then just select all of these window or glass bits. I'm gonna just Shift D to duplicate them, slide them forward on the X. I'm gonna call this window frame, sign that, cool. Great, okay. Now we can actually start texturing this. I'm probably gonna realize in like 3 minutes that I forgot to do something important, but for now, I'm not gonna worry about it. Let's just kind of throw some basic textures on here. For the glass, I'm not actually really gonna make the see-through for now. I'm just gonna add in a glossy and make it pretty reflective. For the window frame, this is where we're gonna add in an image texture. And we're gonna open my magic windows thing, which I'll post in this video. And if I forget, just be like, yo, what are you doing? Post this for me. Are these not the... No, this should be all right. Okay, select all these. Gonna go into the UV editor. Go to the rendered view so you can actually see what you're doing. You just unwrap them, or let me cube project them right now. Let's start with these. They're all copies of the same window, so I'm just gonna kind of group them up loosely. They don't have to be 100% exactly in the same spot, but just enough so we can generally put them all over one window texture. So one, like this one would be ideal because it has the curve built in. Our windows are a little too... Actually, might be better to... I don't know. It's up to you which one of these you want to use. I usually just try and find one that generally fits the size and sort of the aesthetic. So I think this one could work for now. Just make this a bit wider. Just cram it in there. Yeah, it looks alright. Let's just slide this up so it covers the whole top like that. Select these two down here, select this. I'm just gonna assign it to this window piece because this should fit perfectly. Something like that. Cool. For this door, we honestly could just... How do I have this set up? Hide this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign this to the glass. I'm going to Shift D it, drag it forward. I'm going to Shift D it, select the door handle, and drag all this forward just a little bit. I'm going to select this and call it window frame. And I'm going to give it the same treatment I gave the windows, where I'm just going to, let's see, you cube project this, make it nice and small, and could just use one of these actually. It's a little rough. I don't know. You can put it on whatever one of these you really like. It's up to you completely. I will not be mad if you want to model a full-on door, or if you just want to cheat it like I do here. Just select these, bring it down, assign that to the paint level too. Okay. And this can also just be the glass. Cool. So I'm going to go through. I am going to select all the glass layers. I'm going to hide them. I select all the window frame layers. I'm going to hide them. And I'm pressing H to hide. I'm going to select all the window decal layers, and I'm going to hide them. I'm going to select, let's see, the paint layers. I'm going to hide them. And then I'm going to go through, I'm just going to select these bigger outer faces because I want to go through and I want to make this so I can select all these inner bevels here because I am going to change that material. And the easiest way is just to hide everything else so that we can easily just select them all. So basically what I'm just going to do is you select all these and then you press Control I to invert, or you can just hide the original selection. It's up to you. And I'm going to just call this the paint here. All right. And then Alt H to unhide everything. Cool. So we can call this our wall. And this window frame, just plug the alpha into the alpha and you should be able to see through. Because these are green in the original, just add in a color ramp, plug it in here. And let's figure out our paint color and then we can transfer that over. So I'm gonna, guess I'll go for like the original kind of color, like this dark bluish green. It's almost gray actually. Something like that. I'm gonna copy the hex, oops, Command C, and I'm going to go to our window frames, select this, copy the hex, paste the hex, excuse me, so that way it matches. Yeah, and let's take this glass, and I'm just gonna add in a Musgrave texture and plug this into displacement. Ooh, that's warbly. Be like 2. I don't know, something to just change it up a little bit so it's not crazy flat. I'm going to make these wall now. So let's see, image, texture. I'm gonna actually make a mix here. So mix RGB. Duplicate this down. So basically what I'm gonna do, I'm thinking is I'm gonna open an image of bricks. Cool, something like that. This paint is really bland. I'm going to image texture. I know you're probably like, oh boy, here we go again. Let's open the gold dirty metal. See how that looks. I'm gonna tab in edit mode, select this paint, cube project. Great. Now it looks like dirty metal. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna select this hex. I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna add in a color ramp. Select here. I'm gonna copy this. Drag it out a little bit. So now there's like actual some changes to how it looks. I am going to drag this dirty metal through the specular, add in a color ramp again so we can control it. Now if you remember, white is going to be more bounce the light back more, and black is going to do less. Now this is actually kind of has a fair amount of bounce to it, so I might turn up the white just a little bit and then crunch it like that. Now if we really wanted to be good and we really wanted to like get into it, we should go through. I'm gonna press Alt Z so I can select multiple faces at a time, or X-ray select. I'm going to select this whole top bit here, and I'm gonna make its new texture, call this metal. It's gonna be like the roof sheet basically. Just turn up the metallic a fair amount. Sure, if that wants to be metal, that could be metal. Yeah, so turn up the roof sheet here. I am going to just go here. I'm going to copy over this dirty metal texture, Command C, and I'm just going to paste it back in here. I'm going to plug it into the specular, into the base color, something like that, just to give it a bit more detail. All right, this roof bit, like no one's going to see that. If you're for some reason shooting from above, you can add more detail, but this would just be for like a background building that you wouldn't be paying too much attention to. Let's see. These window decals need a texture, so I'm going to image texture. I'm gonna open concrete. Now I'm gonna use that yellow concrete, and this should look okay now. Yeah, that actually looks pretty good. cube project. I think what it was is the yellow concrete and the bricks just don't play well together at all. I think if I just used one or the other, it would have looked fine. I'm going to add in a hue saturation slider here. Like a bit less saturated, but a bit deeper in value. Let's see, does that actually work? Sorry, a bit darker in value, so maybe like 0.5 or something, a little less saturation, something like that. I don't know, whatever floats your boat. You might want to just make this like, 3 or something, just to make it a bit smaller and finer. I'd also plug this into the normal, take out the good old bump map, plug this into the height, just turn this down so that you get a little bit, but not too much. I'm going to do the same thing for the bricks because I think that is one thing this is greatly missing. I'm going to plug this down into the normal. I'm going to add in a bump map here, plug it into the height, turn it down. And you know what? I take it back. I hate the bricks, so I am going to switch this out for the wall decal texture instead. I'm going to press this little like 2-page button to make it its own texture. It should be called 01 now. And I'm gonna make something else for this wall because these bricks don't look great. In fact, they look pretty not great. I'm just gonna make this be good old-fashioned white. Color ramp. Yeah, that looks kind of good, like that. I'm gonna make these be actually, instead of the color they are, they're gonna be more of a cream color. So I am going to plug these back in here. Color ramp. And this is why it's good to mess around with these things, because sometimes you'll go one direction and be like, I don't like that very much. I want to change this up. So I don't know, in there somewhere. Just adjust it till it feels right. I think this also now feels a bit bland. So I'm gonna just make it be plain old white again. Crunch it in so it looks at least semi-decent. I'm gonna delete this out, put this back through like it was before. Something like that. This paint, I might try and fool around with it a little bit. Now the thing is, we're kind of freed up, so we can make this be whatever color you want it to be. I mean, this whole thing could be whatever color you want it to be. It's completely up to you. Could do like maybe a light red or something. I don't know. Again, it's completely whatever you want this to look like. This is your ideal house. Alright, that's not looking too terrible. What if it's like a brown and then these are like brown? Maybe. There is no way of knowing. Alright, yeah, so it's completely optional. You can make this look like however you want it to look like. You could even invert it so that these are white and this wall texture is like some other color. Like, that's completely doable as well. I have definitely done that before. And one thing I find adds a lot is if you take a mix RGB, plug this in here. Going to duplicate this down here, put it here, and I'm just gonna import some like tiles, because I found this actually works really well. You know, these tiles old, and it's gonna make them a bit smaller, so maybe like 5, something like that. Now I'm gonna use that trick I was trying to use. I'm gonna add in a noise, plug the factor into the difference here. See how big we are. Yeah, like that maybe. turn up the roughness. I'm gonna turn this back down. Add in a color ramp. Plug this into the factor here. Crunch this in so it looks good. We really don't want to see much of the tiles. We just kind of want a hint of them behind. And if those tiles don't float your boat, because they're not quite doing it for me, I might switch them out for another type of tiles, like these square ones. Or, these look a little weird too. Tiles. Let's just try these plain flat ones that I have in here that are a little bit more like bricks. And let's see. I might go back. I actually think this might, yeah. That kind of looks nice. I kind of like the faint little tiling in there. But yeah, that is how I like to make these type of buildings, and I will put as much detail and stuff as I'm willing to do. You can certainly add way more details on any of this stuff to make it fancy. A little trick that works great is to go in and take one of these edges. I'm just gonna, let's see, I'm gonna duplicate this, go in edit mode, or x-ray vision, anyways, take this and delete the inner side here. I'm going to select this whole thing, SY to bring it in, SX to bring it in, E to extrude, make it come all the way down here, maybe come up a little bit more. I'm going to take it, I'm going to call this metal, and a U, cube project. I'm going to add in a little more variety here, so I'm going to add in a bevel here, or edge loop, excuse me. Let's add in a few edge loops along here. I'm going to select this whole thing, I inset, I'm going to double click it so it insets everything. Alt E to extrude it in a little bit along those faces. I'm going to just delete those faces. And you can make some perfectly good, quick little guardrails with this method. I strongly advise. It will definitely help to spice things up just a little bit. But yeah, stuff like the guardrails, I find that really helps, especially on more of a plain looking building like this, because it's all about taking what's already there and then just kind of enhancing it to look even better. So yeah.